and this is going to be a, sort of a very short piece, but really just a little bit to explain to you a bit about where we've come from, and really just to see out what has been an absolutely amazing journey. So if I can go to the first slide, please, Sean. So I'm sure all of you will appreciate and understand, and I think we mentioned this at the beginning, this is our conference planning committee, and this conference certainly could not have happened unless all of these people have done what they've done, and I am eternally grateful. It's gone better than we ever anticipated, or better than we ever thought it could be. So I am super, super proud, really, of this group, and particularly, certain people who've been working. I can't even go into how many people have been working behind the scenes. I'm sure those of you who know these things don't happen overnight. But every single face that you can see that's currently on that screen, I want to say thank you, thank you, and thank you. Sean, if you could go to the next slide for me. So just what we had hoped to achieve. Obviously, clearly, it started actually with disappointment in that we had to cancel Calgary because of COVID. And we certainly felt that because our educational offer is so important to us as a group, in terms of what we want and how we work together, and how important it is for us to come together to share, we were really, truly disappointed that it looked like this year of all years that wasn't going to happen. But we were then also in the process of planning using our new website to see if we could do something extraordinary on that. And we had always anticipated with the new website that we would have an e-learning portal. And I have to say, at pace and with the absolute energy that is Sean Collins, our webmaster and social media guru, he took that on with great energy, and I couldn't be more proud of Sean and his efforts. So thank you, Sean, from the bottom of all of our hearts, because we know certainly this couldn't have happened without you. But we then decided that in launching the portal, we would use our first virtual conference as the offer. And we were ambitious. A lot of people have said to me, oh, I thought when you said you were going to do this, you were only going to do maybe a week. No, typical IntNSA, maybe typical nursing. We decided to go all out, and we offered 30 days. And attendees were able to control their own learning, particularly as we know everybody is very busy, and particularly because of COVID, but also our own learning pace. We had over 80 educational events. And a mixture, as you know, of synchronous, which were live, and asynchronous, which were pre-recorded, and a total of 43 educational offers in terms of your CEUs. And I hope you have been collecting those. Sean, if we could move forward. So we could never believe that we would connect with so many. And I'm going to share a little bit of the stats for you, which are absolutely, truly amazing. So Sean, let's move, let's show. So our conference stats, we started off, and those of you who come to our face-to-face conferences know that we are truly ecstatic if we get anywhere close to 200. Well, on this occasion, we have had 941 individual people register for our conference, with over 20 countries represented. This has actually resulted in over almost 36,000 page views, which is just phenomenal. Moving forward. Engagement. So what have we got under our engagement? So we have 300 plus comments and questions made by people who visited and viewed the webinars. And those of you will know that at the end of every webinar page, you had an opportunity to engage with the presenters. So 300 comments were left and answered. The most accessed page, which is super news for our good friend Karan, who went to a lot of effort to pull this together, is the self-care room. And probably, we all agree, probably, that was one of the most important things that we did, was actually having that available to people, particularly given what everybody's coping with at the moment. So again, our gratitude to Karan, and I believe Karan is going to help us to keep that self-care room going. So watch that space on our website. Most viewed webinar was the medically supervised injecting rooms, although we believe that's now starting to tally with a couple of others, including suicidality. So we will be, and I will explain this in a moment, we are keeping open access to all of our webinars for the moment. So that may tally slightly differently finally when we close things down, but we will be, and hopefully putting out an update report on the conference to everybody so you can see what finally happened. But most viewed live at the moment was our opening ceremony. So that's really good. And we had 3.3 thousand views on YouTube, which is in effect where all of our webinars are hosted on our YouTube channel. And that resulted in, you can see there, 784 hours of viewing, watching time. I mean, that is some learning, guys. And I have to say, I'm immensely proud. That is just incredible engagement. In social media, and this is a huge whopper, 1.1 million reaches. I mean, we've really only started to play with social media in the last couple of years as an organization. So this is an amazing bounce effect for us. We've tweets with IntNSA 2020, 936, and active tweeters, 86 people engaging in this activity. In Facebook, we've gone 313% increase in our total page views, and that has resulted in nearly 200% increase in the people reached, almost tipping 30,000. And you can see post engagement again, almost up there in the 200,000 increase, or sorry, 200% increase with 1,300 post engagements. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And you can see lots of participants showing pictures underneath. And as I say, we will wrap this up into a full conference report, which hopefully maybe with our colleagues in the Journal of Addiction Nursing, we might have some opportunity to talk about this and how you can engage people in learning through virtual means. So moving on. So whilst these stats are amazing, the conference stimulated new synergies with key collaborators, another amazing thing for us as an international organization. Of course, we had Dr. Pam Cipriano for the International Council of Nurses, as one of their affiliates. It was really important that we engaged with our ICN colleagues, and I'm pleased to say they kicked us off at the very beginning of October. We've also reached out and made new friends with ISOP, the International Society of Substance Use Professionals. We've made new friends with the European Drug Monitoring Centre for Drugs and Drug Addiction. We've made new friends with the UNODC, particularly the Nigerian group. We've made new friends with the Colombo Plan. We've made new friends with the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs and the US State Department. And we've made new friends with the Alcohol, Drugs and Addictive Behaviors in the WHO office. And all of these colleagues who we've engaged with, we will certainly as a board be meeting them over November and December to look at collaborative working with each other and reaching out to them, plus our current friends, including people like ISEM, the group ISEM, and so forth. So we're really quite excited to be able to come back to and report to you, hopefully in the early part of 21, about how these relationships are continuing to develop and flourish and what that might mean in terms of our footprint getting much, much bigger across the globe. So thank you for that. And I think that's been only really possible at the pace that we've made these relationships because of the virtual conference. So that's a huge success. Next page. So what next? So this is important information really, because all the webinars that will remain available and will have open access till the 30th of November, so that attendees can catch up who are doing the learning at their own pace and also submit for their CEs. So keep watching and please pass that on to your colleagues or friends who are still registered with us to say that there is another month's grace for people to go back. I know that some people are still in week 2, maybe week 3, and of course week 4 has only just happened. So we're giving everybody that extra month as a kind of Christmas bonus present to get their learning in and get their CEs accredited. So please do that so that you don't lose out. We are, of course, looking to see how we can continue to have these webinars available, but not necessarily with the CEs attached. So that's why it's important that you make sure if you have registered for CEs, you get that learning in before the 30th of November. Our e-learning portal is clearly truly launched and works. So we're now moving to establish the IntNSA Educational Committee, which will continue to plan IntNSA's educational offer with the intent to support our members with lots more free events and CEs. So please watch that space. And then, of course, what next is rest. I think hopefully you'll agree this has been both an exhilarating but exhausting month for a few of us been delivering this. So at least for a week, we're going to stand back and take a breath. And then the new board, which has just been voted in and announced at our business meeting on Thursday by our outgoing president, Forneely, we are going to meet the new board on the 9th of November, and we'll review obviously the analytics in detail and the lessons learned, and we'll go to work again. So watch this space. Next slide. And what will that be? One of it will, of course, be to look at the next conference. Now, that is the billion-dollar question at the moment. We are probably in the UK about to go into full lockdown again on Wednesday. France, Germany have already gone into lockdown. And I suspect, depending on the results of your politics over and your elections in the US, I suspect things may change for you as well. So we really don't know where we're going to be in 12 months' time. I really hope that we're going to be physically together. That would be just a beautiful, wonderful thing. And we have the hotel and everything booked still in Calgary, and we hope to be there. But if we don't, we now know that virtual can work as well. So I'm not panicking too much, but I do really hope that I get to see everybody physically, as I'm sure you do. But watch this space and we'll be keeping you up to date. So last action really for me is to ask feedback, feedback, feedback. There is and will be an evaluation of the overall Congress. And if you've been submitting your CEs, you will have already been completing evaluation of individual sessions. Please let us know your feedback. This will influence both next steps on conference planning, but also your thoughts on our virtual meetings. So we're desperate to get your feedback. So do make sure you complete the evaluation forms so that we can take all of that into consideration as we move forward. Next slide. So last words. Be safe, most important. We are still facing, I think, into a really uncertain few months, and we have to really just look after ourselves. But I would like to say to everybody, be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your patients, and be kind to others. We do not know what people are going through at the moment, and it's very easy in this COVID trauma, COVID exhaustion, that sometimes words, deeds can come out in the wrong way. So let's be kind in our thinking and first give thought that maybe what's happening for the individual who may not be as kind or as nice in front of us today is a result of what's happening in their life. Becoming a nurse, those of us who are nurses, of course, know is one of the most selfless acts a person can undertake. In a society of so many different races, cultures, customs, and beliefs, nurses are a universal gift to all, and the dedicated work that they do and kindness they deliver on a daily basis should serve as a reminder of the fundamental humanity inside us all. Addiction nurses certainly save lives.